Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to Sunday morning in the old cookbook show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of this cookbook, Cooking Around the World and at Home. This was sent in by a viewer. Thank you very much for sending this in. Thanks to all of the comments on our last cookbook unboxing video, I've decided what I'm going to do moving forward for unboxing these cookbooks. I think starting early next year, January 2025, I'm going to tack on maybe a 2 or 3 minute addition to the Sunday morning old cooking show after the video of me unboxing 1 or 2 packages of the cookbooks. And just put that sort of at the end of those videos. And for anybody who wants to watch it, they can continue to watch it through. I think that's probably the best way moving forward. Anyway, this book, Church Community Cookbook, undated, because, why would you date a book like this? It doesn't, why would you put a date on it? It doesn't make any sense that you would put a date on it. But I can date it because the ad on the back is for C. Mitchell Motors in Lufkin, Texas. And they're advertising the new 1949 Studebaker. It's a very interesting book. It's very much of the time. It shows an opening up of what North Americans were eating as they were being exposed to a wider selection of foods. I mean, food in North America had always been fairly diverse. Each new wave of immigration brought their food with them. But in the post-World War II years, people were traveling more, or they had just traveled, and they were bringing more and more recipes from far-flung places. And so there's some fairly interesting recipes in the front of this book, and then they get to eating at home in Texas. And the recipe we're going to do today is one that I've never seen before, and I thought it was going to be interesting. It's dead simple, and it's called hominy pork chop casserole. Right off the top, it says pour a large can of hominy in an oblong casserole dish. So, oblong casserole dish, really easy. Large can of hominy, maybe a little bit more difficult. And so where we live, not Texas, there are 3 can sizes of hominy. And pretty much there's 4 or 5 brands that are available at the grocery store that I went and got these from. Not available in mainline grocery stores here. You have to kind of go to that tertiary tier of grocery stores. I got these at Blue Sky. So there were 4 or 5 different brands, and they all had the same can sizes. Small, medium, and then, the giant can for feeding like 150 people. I didn't think this was going to be big enough. I didn't think that can of hominy was going to put enough in the bottom of our casserole dish. So I bought a second can, and I bought 2 different colors. Next, I'm supposed to season the pork chops, salt and pepper, so I'll keep flipping these over, and I'll get salt and pepper on them all over, all sides. Now, I know the recipe says 4 pork chops. The package that I went out and bought had 6 pork chops, and they are 6 of the most poorly butchered pork chops I have ever seen. But pork chops seem to be consistently the cheapest meat in the grocery store. So, let's see if I can get them in here. Five pork chops, not 6 pork chops. I should go back to school and count better. Okay, so I've got 4 pork chops, and they fit in the dish nicely. I've got a 5th pork chop. I'm going to do remedial counting. I've got a 5th pork chop. It's not going to fit in here. I'm going to save that, and I'll probably just do a fast fry later in the week with that. Be nice just to fry it up for lunch. Next thing is I'm supposed to put in milk just to the bottom of the pork chops. So I'll just lift this pork chop a little bit and pour in the milk. Oh, I'm going to run out of milk. Okay, here we go. Just a touch more milk. That's probably enough. Now, the oven is preheated to 375 degrees. I'm supposed to put this in for 45 minutes.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Jules.
Hey, friends. A casserole? I'm not really sure what to call this. She looks like you've got some corn and...
Hominy pork chop casserole. Now,
We're waiting.
I struggled with this
Okay.
because my initial thought was, oh, hominy, grits. You put the grits in the bottom, hominy grits in the bottom, and then you
Yep.
cover it with the milk. But as I read through the book, they always referred to 2 cans of hominy or a can of hominy drained, which is the whole
The
hominy.
hominy.
I think that it would be probably better with grits, but I'm not sure which is which. And since I have no attachment to Texas in 1949, I really have no clue.
The hominy tastes like hominy.
Yeah, should.
I guess the question of how it influences the pork chop beyond creating a moist pork chop.
The pork chop should be moist because, essentially steamed over top of the milk and the hominy. It got a nice bit of browning on the top too. So you get some of that flavor of browned meat, not just steamed meat with hominy underneath. So,
That's pretty good.
if you live in this part of Texas, Lufkin, around Lufkin, maybe you even know Mrs. J.M. York from Lufkin, Texas. Tell us, do you make this? Is this lost in time? Is this something that continues today?
Did we
And-
choose the correct hominy?
Did we choose the correct hominy? I know from the comment section, and I also know from all of the cookbooks I have from the American South, it gets really weird when they start talking about grits and hominy. And regionally, they use different language to mean the same thing. And in one region, they'll use language, but in the other region, they'll use exactly the same language, but it'll mean something completely different. And
Kind of like a biscuit?
kind of like a biscuit.
Just,
Anyway, this is pretty good, actually. This is pretty good. So for a quick, cheap weeknight meal, get this in the oven and then serve it with whatever other vegetables you want to have. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.